Project. The Federal Reserve is the enemy of the people, the enemy of the United States. And I think a lot of you would agree with me. I'm not the only one saying this. We're seeing this as much more of a common theme. Of course, Ron Paul used to say this, and clearly what they're doing is transferring the wealth from the middle class to the elites here in the United States. And this is going to continue to be a rolling theme. I believe, in my humble opinion, I'm also going to get my dad's thoughts on this today, well into 2023 and well into 2024. Like and smash those likes, beat the algorithms, crush it for us right now, guys. Get it out to the American people because they need to be prepared for what I believe is happening right now and I've warned about for a very long time, a credit collapse in the westernized world, a credit collapse in the United States, capital controls coming soon, and what we're seeing right now across the space and stocks, with Tesla down 50%, we see Facebook down 80%, is just that. It is a margin call of the middle class. It's a liquidation. In fact, my father and I were talking about this in 2008-09. There was a lot of warning signs prior to the collapse. But it is a little bit different this time because the inflation isn't going to stop. So I've been saying this for a while. The Fed is already pivoting. I fully expect the Federal Reserve and the central banking system to begin cutting rates as early as 2023, and I would say it's almost guaranteed in 2024. And the reason is, unless they are leading the American people into the abyss of the greatest depression that we've ever seen in world history, then they've got to continue to print fiat currency, print that into infinity. They've got to blow out the debt, which is currently at 31 trillion bucks and growing, take a money supply that has tripled, literally tripled. The M2 money supply has tripled since 2008-09. There is no shots left, basically, for them to take outside of resetting the financial system into a new one. So I just wanted to talk about this today because, number one, cash is trash. I've been saying this for years. If you've got cash sitting in the banks, you need to deploy it. You need to put it into an asset. You need to get rid of it. Okay, you need to put it into some kind of income bearing or capital gain situation, whether or not you're investing in real estate, which I encourage you guys to do with the #1 real estate blockchain opportunity in the world, islandproject.com, or you're investing in a business, or even if it's some other kind of dividend stock or something that you own, you've got to be getting paid. Cash is worthless. In fact, we were looking at property over the weekend here and much of yesterday, and that's all we see in Maui is inflation everywhere. There's not a lot out there. Okay, this is why we're buying Maui real estate. It's #1 asset class in the world. It's going to continue to go higher. This is a macro paradigm shift on basically where people are deploying their capital and putting their money, and property values are through the roof. Now, there are some cracks. We'll talk about that in places like, possibly the condo market in Oahu. So we're constantly looking for deals. But I'll give you a specific example. We were looking at a lot yesterday, which I'm personally interested, either for the project or even maybe a personal investment. This is a lot that was bought within the last 6 months, which is already being flipped more than likely for a six-figure gain in just 6 months' time. So I believe that the cold hard reality is coming, whether I'm telling you this or Elon Musk is saying this. He's saying the same thing about the central bank right now. He says that the Federal Reserve does not put on the brakes and remove its hawkish stance, then we're going to enter, so to speak, a depression in this country. I don't think that that's going to happen. I believe that we are in a depression, but it's a stagflationary type of event. Zero growth, geopolitical instability. You see what's going on with the war in Ukraine. That's only going to escalate. I was reading a report today from Paul Craig Roberts, who served under the Reagan administration. He says we're tiptoeing possibly into nuclear conflict if the West and Ukraine, along with its Western-funded, backed, militarily armed allies, thanks to your taxpayer funds that nobody voted for, and they attempt to take the Crimean Peninsula, Putin could react to that. It could be nuclear. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this is what I see. And economically and financially speaking, I see a nuclear event for those of you that aren't getting out of the banks and deploying your capital. You need to remove yourself. Again, there's other people that will tell you this. You take cash because it's trash and you've got to deploy it into income-bearing capital gain situations and investments that actually pay you to wait and do something while you're sleeping. So Introducing my dad, many of you, of course, know him, Vice President of the Island Project. And we'll also answer some questions about that today. We love you guys too. And also, I want you guys to maintain an offensive mindset in this environment. Don't sit back. Let the central bank, the Federal Reserve, the lying psychopathic mainstream media push you around, tell you how to think. Crypto's down right now. Why is that? Because they want to margin call that industry. Stocks are down. They want to blow out anybody on credit and margin. Then they're going to pick up those bags. Goldman Sachs is going to buy everything, and they're going to pump this into a new Ponzi scheme just like they always do. And I'll give you a closing point before we go more conversational here in a minute. If you bought the dip in 2008-09, you tripled your money. If you bought in 2020, you tripled your money. And if you buy now, I think it's highly likelihood we're going to see not the same results, but similar results as they reset us into a new economic financial system, into CBDCs. Blockchain takes over everything, which is why we've got the #1 portfolio in the world, an asset base with no debt. With no debt, because who's been telling you that there's going to be a credit collapse? So you need to be getting into things like Island Project. You need to get into real estate. You need to get into income-bearing instruments. You need to improve your life. Step outside of the media and do that today. So first question for my father is, what do you see in the current macro perspective with the Federal Reserve, with interest rates at 6-7%? We were talking earlier, credit conditions, we're seeing it tighten with small businesses, but where does this go? And what do you think, in your honest opinion, is the most likely outcome? They know my opinion, but what is your opinion? Do you agree, disagree with me? What are your thoughts?
Well, hello. Hi, everybody. And I tell you what, that was a mouthful. But I love this guy, and he tells it like it is, and he tells it from his heart. So, given all that, I want you to know we're very optimistic. Okay, we're going to take advantage of opportunities, and we're doing that with the Island Project. So, my take on things, and I've spoken of this before, the Fed is going to break something. Right now, it's a slow burn. We don't know if it's going to turn into a major fire, but regardless of that, we're going to take advantage of opportunities, whether that be with the Island Project or other investments, and you all can too. So,
yeah, well, I'm worried too, and I'm interjecting a little bit, but I'm worried about the banking system in the United States. We see all this emphasis on what's going on in crypto right now, but they're behind that. The mainstream media pumped crypto for years. Now they're doing the opposite. Even if we speak candidly about this, for example, you look at SBF, this guy's a scam artist. He was propped up by the Democratic Party, propped up by the system, Congressional Hill. He was actually dealing with Gary Gensler and the regulators and all these people. So he's a Bernie Madoff. But just because there's a Bernie Madoff or there's an Enron, it doesn't discredit or disqualify the entire stock market, for example. So the amount of fear-mongering that the mainstream media is pushing right now is absolutely fraudulent. It's disgusting. They should be held accountable for what they're doing. And, we know what the trends are. We know where all this stuff is going. We know having large margin accounts and debt is a bad thing. So don't do that. This is why we've constructed our portfolio at Island Project very simplistically, where everything we touch, everything we own is cash. We do have the opportunity with some of the ag lands that we're, spec developing to do carrybacks and those kinds of things on special occasions, if we decide to do that as managers. But I personally, Dad, I'm really worried about the banking system right now. I think that the credit unions are safest to be working with, which is who I do business with the limited amounts of fiat that I don't have deployed into my businesses and I don't have deployed into crypto and other investments and real estate and the Island Project, et cetera. But I'm not entirely convinced with Goldman Sachs firing 8,000 employees recently, Facebook cutting 12,000. It looks like they're battening down the hatches for what? What's the whole point of all this cost cutting then after they bought back their shares for years? And, basically a lot of these people just left the nest. The rats flee the nest with their multi-billion-dollar payouts and golden parachutes and leave you hanging out with the bag. So I'm just very concerned for normal Americans in this country who are getting screwed tirelessly over and over again. And you need to fight back. That's what we're doing with Island Project. You need to fight back with your wallets. You need to vote with your freaking bank account. And you need to put money to work and understand what the Fed is running is the Ponzi scheme. The only Ponzi scheme being run out there is the Federal Reserve, is the central banking system, is printing currency from nothing, tripling the M2 money supply, in my humble view. So I just see, honestly, I see more inflation. I think that they're faking the hawkishness and then they start basically pumping and printing and doing all that again, man.
Well, I'm on board with that as well. And I think for all of you folks out there, you know, they're painting the same picture with a little different brush than they have in the past, but it is a slow burn. We talked about this before. They're going to break something. So the slow burn is them raising interest rates. They know what they're doing, okay, and they're gonna get there, and they're gonna do it. As far as the stock market goes, they're gonna take out all the margin players, and we haven't seen that big cataclysmic event. Maybe we don't, but the stock market has been almost a perfect rig up until now, but I expect that to break. I think we're gonna have all kinds of opportunities. So on a positive note, we're going to deploy our cash into the island project. We're going to take advantage of any cracks on the market. We're going to build this guy out, and we are going to make it great.
Yeah, we're going to make money too. I mean, honestly, people ask me, Christopher, what are you doing with your money? How do you prepare? I have all these consulting calls. I'm like, I'm doing exactly what I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling the public on a daily basis. I'm investing in an island project. I'm investing in real estate. I'm dollar cost averaging into cryptocurrencies. I'm getting out of the banks. I mean, I'm batting down the hatches. I'm doing what Goldman Sachs is doing. I'm doing what all the billionaires are doing. I'm doing what Jeff Bezos is doing down the street. I mean, this is what these guys have been doing. They come into the island, buy $35, $40 million worth of real estate. Why do you think they're doing that? They're not just doing it for fun. They're parking their cash in a bank. And this is a clear difference you need to understand. Not financial advice, read our disclaimers, terms, disclosures, etc. You can't lose money though, an island project. It's cash to cash, dude. If you invest in a cryptocurrency you've never heard the name of, it could go to zero. Island project has no debt. So you've got your cash investment, it gets deployed into an asset. It's a hard asset, like the home that I'm sitting in right now. It's not going anywhere. You know, so even if nukes start flying and the world comes to an end, you still own the portfolio real estate. So, I mean, it's basically the merriment of number one, technological innovation, you know, future launch of the blockchain, which my full intention, 1000x all of our investors early to get into the early bird seed rounds and all of this. But it's also a safeguard from the worst case scenario, because we don't know necessarily what's going to happen. Not everybody can predict the future, but I'm pretty darn optimistic Maui Boo is going to hold its value no matter what, just like it always has. Just like Malibu, you could have just touched anything over the last 30 years, you made a ton of money. And it's the same thing here. And so, you know, I get pumped up about this stuff, guys, but like seriously, there should be a giant sense of urgency to get in. We also are running out of spots. I'm going to raise the minimum on island project investment very soon. So if you want to get in, do it and execute before the end of the year. Get in now. We'll include phone numbers. You can call or text myself, my father, even after this video call that we're doing right now. But like, you need to understand this is serious, and you need to take action and stop sitting on your hands and pretending, you know, something good is going to happen without you actually deploying yourself in the right direction.
I hear you. I'm on board, and there is a big sense of urgency, guys. I think remember this too, is that is the Fed is creating these cracks and fissures in the market, and they're going to create it in the stock market, in the real estate market. And you hear all this noise about Goldman Sachs and all these other guys. Is these cracks are created and these fissures are created in the market, they want you to sell. And guess what? They're going to be buying as you're selling. So I'd say just, you know, feel free to take your time a little bit, but invest in things that are real assets like the Island Project. And we're not all about property entirely, okay? I mean, we're building all kinds of services around the Island Project. In addition to that, we're building a great investor community. So together we can really make it great. But now's the time to be on your toes and be prepared. But you know, we're positive. I mean, we're going to take advantage of every crack, every fissure in the market, and we think it's you know, we're motivated to get out there and start building out this Island Project portfolio now. And that's why I'm in from Honolulu, and Christopher and I have been out hunting properties. We were out all day yesterday, and we're getting very close to delivering some very exciting news to all of you guys. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are very excited, and I just get motivated too because I'm a passionate person. But like, you know, people need to vote with their wallets for what they want. more than, I'm never someone that's been out, honestly, in my life seeking money or wealth, frankly. I care more about freedom, options, choices, and a future for my kids than I care about anything else, which is why, a good reason why I'm successful, because of this guy over here. Because my dad gave me all those options growing up and always told me I could be and do anything that I wanted to achieve. So, that's far more important. And as I see the world close up and a lot of this freedom being removed from people, it pisses me off. A lot of people are going to go along with it. We're not going along with it. We're fighting back on your behalf. We're going to make you, do by you guys right. We're going to do some incredible, powerful things. We're building an ecosystem, building a worldwide brand that's never been done before. Commonly asked questions, people will ask things like, Christopher, do I get a W-9? Can you explain to them that, and taxes and insurance, like basically how the management of our company works a little bit, like in terms of our build out and our portfolio roadmap?
Well, look, guys, I think, and we get a lot of questions, but in essence, we're raising capital for the Island Project. We've done a lot of that right now. But the Island Project is going to consist of about 8 to 10 real properties, real estate properties, combination of marquee estate type homes, condominiums that are going to create a lot of cash flow for the portfolio. We're going to tie that all together with services that we have built around the other businesses that we have, which is the Rent Maui Jeeps. We have a beautiful fleet of Jeeps with a real estate brokerage that we just opened up here. The Island Project Real Estate Company. Our car service, concierge service. We're going to add some other things as well, but the Island Project is going to be it's going to be community oriented, and guess who our community is? It's all of you that invest with us. So when you make a trip over to Maui or Oahu, you're going to own a piece of the property portfolio outright. We're using 100% cash to build out the property portfolio. So you're true owners, you're true fractional owners, and when you arrive at the airport, guess who comes and gets you? Part of the Island Project team. So you get a lot with the Island Project, and a big part of it is the community of like-minded investors. Christopher and I consider that the secret sauce of the Island Project. We're all going to make it great together.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to see a lot more too as you see things shift. As an innovator and somebody who I believe to be a trendsetter, and I'm in the technology space, obviously. As an expert, is you're going to see a lot more of fractional real estate type opportunities. Like, we're on the cusp of that now. The only difference is you'll never get into the ground floor or into the early bird seed round of an opportunity like that Island Project. We're the first people in the world to do that, but there's billions of dollars flowing in right now from SPACs, from other companies that are fractionalizing real estate. And this is why when Klaus Schwab and these people say you'll never own anything and you'll be happy, because they're going to basically fractionalize all the valuable assets in the world and Ponzi it up to levels that are so extreme you won't be able to buy anything. So you're going to see this a more developing trend. Whether or not we're telling you about this, Jeff Bezos down the street, he's invested in companies. He's already deployed hundreds of millions of dollars into fractional real estate opportunities. We're seeing other companies do this as well. So this is a major development in industry as well. And the blockchainification of real estate has always been the #1 asset class to basically marry this technology, in my humble opinion. So it really is the ground floor, and it's about you guys, it's about our community, and it's about building each other up. Like my dad says, that truly is the secret sauce, because there's a power in numbers. I mean, there was never a time in history where you could essentially crowdfund an idea like this, get it off the ground, and provide access to an opportunity for the average person out there. That's never been possible. I mean, it used to be you needed a guy, someone at Goldman Sachs who was a friend that you paid off or something to get you into the opportunity. But it doesn't work like that anymore. We are in a democratized space, and that's why I got into blockchain, is for freedom and liberty. That was the sole reason, to basically have opportunity just like anyone else does in the United States of America. And I believe that's diminishing. We're seeing that window close, and we saw it the last couple of years. Couldn't travel, you were restricted where you could go. I mean, we can tangent on that topic as well, but you saw how easily it was to take away basically everything from you overnight. So, you have the power. And so you need to understand this. You really do need to remove yourself from the media completely. Remove yourself from all the negativity out there. And realize, just like the media was spouting off the latest doggy coin or Dogecoin millionaire 24 months ago, now they're telling you that all crypto is going to zero. Well, the truth's in the middle. And the truth is, we're going to be rolling into a $10 trillion market and then a $100 trillion market in the future, in my view. And you're getting in on the new Amazons and the new Googles and the new Teslas and the new Netflixes and the Microsofts that many of you missed. And I've said this a million times, but I remember in the early days when Google launched, people were like, how would Google make money? I don't understand what an algorithm is. What's AdSense? Why would anybody actually be able to monetize this? And now data is king. Data is the new oil, and the new oligarchs are the people that control the data and basically control, you know, the new digital gold. And that's what it is. So I don't know, anything else you see in like the economy, like locally in Honolulu, are you noticing any trends with small businesses? Are they kind of powering back after all the shutdowns and stuff that we saw in recent years? Do you see a healthy economy?
Yeah,
You do. Okay.
Look,
That's good.
And you know, look, it's a healthy economy until it's not. So, but no, after the pandemic and things opened up in Honolulu, honestly, I've never seen it busier. It's always been a busy place, and especially if you get in the heart of Waikiki. It's an international part of the world. A lot of beautiful flavors to Waikiki. Okay, with the different people, different nationalities, but it's always a busy place. But after the reopening, post-pandemic, crazy busy. There's been a lot of building as well. However, you know, I'm seeing some cracks. Being in the real estate industry, I can see the cracks in our market on Oahu. I see the cracks getting a little larger. We don't see it over here yet, but I do think we're going to have some opportunities. But you know, Chris made a mention of this too. I mean, there's very little inventory on Maui, especially compared to the demand for the properties. So any opportunities we get over here, we need to act on those. And that, again, that's why I'm here this time, is we've identified a few, but we need to, when we do see a crack, we need to take advantage of it over here, because it's not going to last very long. But
Yeah.
always opportunities. I mean, we look at this as, at least I look at this, I know Chris the same way, is, and on a broader brushstroke, the Fed is going to break this market. They're going to break the economy. They're on a mission to do it. They've gone so far as to tell us that. And in the background, you hear the noisy guys from Goldman Sachs trying to put fear into the general populace now too, which is all a sign that they're going to pounce on opportunities. Okay, so we intend to do that as well. So all of us in the Island Project, we're going to take advantage of those opportunities. Once the Fed accomplishes their mission, so-called breaks the market, and they'll break the stock market, they'll break the real estate market, guess what? There's only one other thing they can do, and that's to print a bunch of money. And it could be at the end of 2023, maybe 2024, but that's the plan. And unless there's something I'm missing, that's all they can do. So we're here to take advantage of it, enjoy the beautiful islands, build a community, have all you guys come out and enjoy it as well. As you know, with Christopher and I, we're building out the Island Project. We're balancing between creating operating income for all of our investors that are fractional owners in the project, but also allocating some time to everybody that invests in the Island Project, whether it's $30,000 minimum, whether you've invested $100,000, $250,000, $500,000, whatever it is. So we're working a little bit of a balance. Most of the use of the Island Project is going to be to create income and siphon that back to our investors. But we intend to have about 25% of the time for the property portfolio for investor member use. And we've got another couple of interesting ideas as far as that goes as well. So off to the races.
Yeah, I was just going to say too, you know, you can see, I'm sure our audience would agree, the demographic demand. And what is a demographic demand? Everybody wants the same things. They want their own plot of land. A lot of people want to get out of the cities. They want to get out of the banks. You know, we see people buying gold, silver. I sell gold and silver. People want to deploy their cash, put it into real estate. So like that demographic shift alone, like look at the property values of a good plot of land. Like let's say 2 acres outside of a major city. They've all doubled in value since the lockdowns. That trend's going to continue. There's also a massive demographic shift, especially because Maui's undiscovered. As much as people think Maui's discovered, it's really not. And the reason is you've got a lot of young families, working professionals like myself with kids that don't have a 9 to 5. You know, my dad was a businessman for a year. He's, you know, obviously an entrepreneur himself. But, you know, he used to roll into an office. He had rolled into a manufacturing plant every single day. You know, you're managing 100 employees or whatever it is, and all the demand of actually like manufacturing a real product. For those of you who don't know, my dad was in the business of salad dressings, relish, pickles, the barbecue sauce at Carl's Jr., the pickles at an In-N-Out burger, which by the way, we love In-N-Out. They're a great Christian run business. So I was always proud that my dad had the pickles, you know, in those burgers. But that's a business that you can't leave. But we're in an environment now, I mean, all my friends, they're well-to-do, they're making good money, and they can do it from anywhere in the world. So when you have a choice, where am I gonna go? I'm gonna be out here in, you know, the suburban wasteland, or I'm gonna be here on a beautiful island. At least a second home's getting, you know, positioned here. So we've moved from a retirement community where it was just kind of old money and you're exiting society to like, this is like the up and coming Malibu Laguna Beach. Seriously, and that's what it feels like now. And so this trend is going to continue, and we really believe, is our thesis, this is the #1 asset class in the world. Malibu. It is the new Malibu. It's still undiscovered. It's still tremendously overvalued, and I think prices will continue to triple, honestly, out here. So, you know, you've got a world-class investment just on the asset portfolio itself. You know, let's say 33.5 million, which is our seed round funding amount. And then once that closes, it closes forever. You'll never get in again. That very easily triples in value in the future. In addition to that, you're paid to wait. You get a W-9 at the end of the year. You're getting income. You get a tokenized community. You get access at discounts to everything we've built. Homes, condos, Jeeps, etc. You're also voting with your wallet for freedom and liberty, which I know a lot of people don't care about, honestly. A lot of people, it's just the money. Well, I can't guarantee, obviously, as I'm not financial advised, but we're going to make money. Okay, we're going to kick ass in that department, but we're also kicking ass for freedom and liberty too. So we're actually doing something good as well, which is really important to me. You know, it's not just some hedge fund manager in the middle of New York City and it's all dollars and cents and we're just throwing papers of, you know, derivatives around, which I think is the problem. A little tangent, but I think this is the problem with America. Yeah. I mean, these people have been, you know, running these shenanigans for a very long time. So it's a hard asset. It's out of the banks. And then the cherry on top is I'm using all my expertise in tech and my worldwide brand and my ability to market and that massive impact worldwide with my media operation. And we're tokenizing, guys. We're tokenizing. So, you know, we played everything by the book. Of course, we're non-registered security. We filed all of our paperwork with regulators, et cetera. We've done every single thing because we are the class acts. And, you know, we vet you guys just as much as you're vetting us, quite honestly. And so we're very excited to have all you guys onboarding, but I did want to do a heartfelt video with my father, and I'll let him speak a little bit more, but like, now's the time. You know, we're closing out the end of the year. There's not a lot of time left. Okay, I talked to a guy from Canada the other day. He's got about 100,000 that he's coming in with a little bit more money. He was an early investor, but he's like, Chris, I know I got to get out of the banks. He says, there's so much tyranny here in Canada. I know I've got to deploy it. I'm afraid I won't be able to get it out.
Well, that's a good point. And for all of you, and I'm sure we've got some of you watching, but we have a lot of investors from Canada, from Australia, from Europe,
New Zealand.
From New Zealand. Trust me, the currency translation is not good, yet they're still throwing money at the island project. We have a lot of investors from Texas, all over the country, really, into the project. And Chris, you know, the tokenization, we're first movers. Nobody's tokenizing marquee Hawaii real estate the way we're going to do it, and he's democratized it for everybody as well. So, really cool what we're doing. We're super excited about it. I think one thing that, you know, to really kind of look at in the future too, we are building a brand. So the Island Project, in addition to all the great things we talk about with the project itself, we're building a great brand. So the Island Project, we feel like we can build an island project anywhere. So as founders, you're in this first founders round. What does Chris say? Take it to the moon, baby.
Yeah, 1,000 freaking X.
And we're gonna do it, so.
Yeah, I did want to interject quickly so that you can answer, because I do get a lot of questions about retirement accounts, right? So we are working with a company called Preferred Trust.
Yeah.
Correct? Can you just explain that a little bit? Because a lot of you have got dormant money sitting around doing nothing. And I've talked to a few of you too that have a lot of equity in your houses and you're just sitting on it. You know, I believe in no debt, but if you've got money sitting in a bank or something and you need to put it to work, you can also roll over your IRA or your retirement account. We've got providers that can help you through that process. Can you explain a little bit there?
Absolutely. So we do have a lot of retirement money, IRA money that has come into the Island Project. So you can't just flip a switch, guys. Typically, you have to identify how much you want to roll over or move into the Island Project. We would connect you with a company called Preferred Trust, and they would act as an intermediary, move your money from its current location to Preferred Trust. They would be the custodian for your IRA. And the reason you use somebody like Preferred Trust or Preferred Trust themselves is they act as a custodian and they can invest in private placements or private offerings. The banks can't do this. A lot of the financial institutions can't do this. So it doesn't have to be Preferred Trust, but that's who we've been using primarily because they're dialed in. And if you're going to do that, you need to think about it and get started because it's not you don't just push a button. It probably takes 2 to 3 weeks to turn things around. But we have a lot of people that are going that way. So they've got money in their IRA. They're not really paying too much attention to it. Invested in the Island Project, we're going to make you a lot of money.
Yeah, no, that's good advice too. So if you are considering rolling over a retirement account, we can't give tax advice. Obviously, we're not accountants, but you know there are tax advantages. Speak with an attorney, but that's a great opportunity, and it does take some time to roll that stuff over. So especially as you close out the end of the year, you're figuring out your financial situation and what you're going to be doing and how you're preparing and getting ready for 2023. That's really, really good advice. Taxes and insurance, can't remember if we covered this, but the management company itself pays that on behalf of the portfolio because people will ask me that. So I don't know, guys, I like real estate. I like something I can touch. Our investors like something they can walk through and touch with their actual hands and stand on. So, you know, in an environment like this, where there's tremendous uncertainty, I believe we're in a credit crisis. I think that could sour and get worse. And what I see is stagflation and maybe even hyperinflation in the United States. You know, eggs are up like 43% a year. Eggs are up 43% in a year. Meats are through the roof. I mean, even just basic materials to life. Building materials are tough to get. If you're speccing property out here, it can take 2 years minimum, and that's pushing the envelope. Take you 3 years in certain parts of the country, not just Maui. So these supply shocks, I expect to continue too. Look at Apple Computers, Tim Cook. They're moving their semiconductor plants over to Arizona and Chandler right now, which to me is like, I don't know, maybe they're planning for an imminent invasion of Taiwan as well.
It's the end of globalization as we know it. But yeah, guys, anyways, it's been great spending time with you. I don't know what else Chris has to cover, but really appreciate everybody. And I'm glad you're paying attention to Chris because he's dialed into what's going on. I want you to know that ever since he started the platform, he's been able to, I don't know if this is the right word, but he's had a front row seat to the tyranny that has been going on within the country for a long time. So, God bless you for being dialed in. I wish I paid better attention about 10 years ago, but everybody's on board now. Let's take advantage of the Island Project. Let's do it together. Thank you all.
Yeah, God bless all of you guys tuning in. Again, please like and smash the like button, break the algorithms, get this out to the world, and call us or text us with any questions that you have, any areas that you want us to expand upon. Our number is 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934, 808-442-2934. Also, all links in the description. You can fill out an app right now here on Beautiful Saturday. It'll take you 10 or 15 minutes in our portal at islandproject.com. You go to the membership tab. There's a 30K minimum to get in. Each share's price is $1,000. If you come in with 100 shares, it's $100,000. If you come in with 50 shares, that's $50,000. You can fill out an app. Let us know if you have any questions. You can fund right there. It's very easy. We've streamlined this whole process and there's not a lot of spots left. So just encourage you guys. We love you. Thank you for everything you guys do for us. Thank you to our investor community, by the way. You guys are badasses. We've got you all over the world. We love you. I'm doing this for you guys. We're fighting on your behalf. We're going to kick major ass. We're going to have a good time doing it too. Not enough people are having fun. I see a lot of people depressed out there, and I always tell you guys to live your 1000x life. Life is short, so go big, take action, guys. That's my personal, living ethos, and I believe it's an excellent one. Links below. Dad, I love you. Thank you so much. God bless you as well.
I love you, son. Let's go to the beach.
Let's do it, man. So we will
see you guys.
We will see you soon. Like and share, guys.